Any toxic behavior written, narrated, or illustrated in this piece is not condoned by the author, the narrator, and the artist in real life. This was purely written and created for fictional horror writing purposes. It contains triggering content that may be uncomfortable. Viewer discretion is advised. The tales held a certain rhyme that told Alice to be wary. 'Twas you were in the role of Alice. In a fictional universe where everyone's madness was in denial, proceed with caution, for discretion is the key to survival. Their crazy love will corrupt your sanity. Keep to yourself and trust no one if you wish to save your humanity. But Alice never heeded the warnings, and now they must pay the price. If you entered the land Shouto ruled over once, you were never going to leave again. Whatever Shouto wanted in his kingdom, Shouto would get it. Whether or not you held any feelings for him would not matter. Once he set his eyes and heart on you, he would have you locked up in a place where only he would see you. If someone else ever mentioned your name to him, even simply out of curiosity, would try to see you or take you from him, Shouto would be merciless about having them killed. Similar to the personality of the original Queen of Hearts, Shouto could be impatient and become blinded by his fury very quickly. With his people, this impatience caused him to behead many, sometimes for the smallest of reasons. With you, it would lead to utterly cruel punishments. If Shouto wanted you to do something for him, an act of intimacy, show affection, entertain him, and etc., and you refused to do it, he would be forgiving for the first few times. Afterwards, he would begin to lose his patience quicker and quicker each time. His punishments would become harsher, and he would continue to mistreat you until you broke and began to behave in whatever way he wanted you to do so. In the instance you obeyed him from the start, he would eventually start to become bratty and demand more from you. His demands would worsen until they were unrealistic. In the moment when you would be unable to fulfill them, he would start to punish you. He would make each punishment crueler than the previous one until he broke you. Either way, with Shouto's temper being like thin ice that could break at the slightest of pressure for any reason, it would never be a happy ending for you. In the realm of madness, Midoriya was notorious for his. He even had nicknames like Mad Midoriya or Insane Izuku that highlighted his peculiar and anomalous personality. Things that were odd, new, and similar to adjectives used to describe his personality excited him. You were everything that thrilled Midoriya, and with the way you were just as mad as him, if not more. Whenever you attended his hosted tea parties, which were just for the two of you, Midoriya always watched you with awe glistening in his irises. Often you spoke about the other world you were from, where fantasy was all just a myth and magic did not exist. You had explained to him that you were from a world of science where something like cars existed. Your tales were so creative that even he, the Mad Hatter, could not come up with something so bizarre. You were an absolute lovely wonder to listen to, and you had madness that perfectly matched Midoriya's. You were perfect, perfectly perfect for him. I better get going now. I still need to make my way through the Kingdom of Hearts and find the bunny, you said, and this caused the awe in Midoriya's eyes to morph into panic. As you were about to stand, Midoriya instantly rushed up to you and roughly pushed you back in your chair. You winced and were about to snap at him, but never received the chance because he had instantly shoved a piece of cake in your mouth. Due to the suddenness of the cake being shoved in your mouth, you gagged. Additionally, for a cake, its taste was disgustingly thick, liquidy, and metallic. You won't need to go to the Kingdom of Hearts or find the bunny. I killed them to make sure you will never need to leave me for them. Also, because I wanted to try a new recipe for the cake where the velvety filling was actual blood instead of a combination of mixed berries. And since you visited me, I wanted you to be the first one to try it. How is it? Midoriya asked excitedly as he leaned extremely close to your face and his eyes and lips widened in zeal. His words would have terrified you had it not been for the black spots that began to cloud your vision. Your consciousness began to fade, and anything else that Midoriya said was heard as distant muffling.
Oh, I forgot. You wouldn't be able to answer me now, since you'll be falling asleep. No worries. You can answer me later, since you only belong to me now.
You shouldn't have followed me, traveler. You still have some time left. Get away from me. Stay away from everyone and return to your own world while you still can.
Bakugou warned, and stepped back from you. At his words, you furrowed your eyebrows in confusion, but remained where you were. You allowed the blonde-haired human, who had some features of a rabbit, to build distance between you two since he seemed to feel frightened by you. His body language screamed fear, but it was anger which was written on his face. His bunny ears were flipped backwards and would have blended with his hair if it was not so spiky. His tail and nose were twitching in anticipation. As adorable as he was for a weird human and rabbit hybrid, this entire situation confused you. You're the one who practically begged me to follow you, though. You led me here, somewhere I'm completely lost and have no idea where to go or what to do. You can't just bring me to an unknown place and then tell me to go on my own. You need to take responsibility for that, you said, and your words seemed to have triggered something in him because, immediately, Bakugou froze. Slowly, moments later, like the way a creepy doll turned its head in a horror movie before it began to chase its victim, Bakugou turned towards you, and his eyes were impossibly wide. He breathed out deeply before he took out a small bottle from the pocket of his pants. The bottle was labeled, "Drink me." Afterwards, he walked towards you and you were surprised at the authoritativeness that was now laced in his voice, and how he wore a stern expression on his face, rather than his previous wary one.
Drink it, or I'll force you to,
he demanded, and there was a menacing vibe concealed in his aura that made you take the drink from him immediately. It was obvious that his words held an absolute threat, and he was not joking. Besides, you had drunk the drink me potion on your way into this madness, and the worst that would happen to you was you would either grow really big or really small. It wouldn't poison you, so not thinking much of it, you opened the lid and gulped down the drink. Once you finished consuming its entire contents, you began to shrink instantly. You became the size of a chocolate bar, and afterwards Bakugou picked you up single-handedly. He smirked at how tiny you had become before he tossed you in a small glass vase, locking it. You gasped. You started to knock against the vase and shout at Bakugou to let you out. However, the only response you received was darkness as he put you in his bag. Due to your own screams and being locked in the glass vase, you did not hear the dangerous words he murmured to himself.
Now I can keep you hidden from everyone else, and only for myself. If someone finds out and tries to take you away from me, I'll kill them.